Well, welcome to summer camp. This is Megaphone Live from Medvale Media. I'm Dave Self, and today we are thrilled to be hosting the mayor of Medvale, Jim Trounson. He's the OGest of the OGs, the originator, the founder, the brain trust that started Medvale several years ago. So today we get to find out a little bit more about Jim, his background, how we ended up here today in beautiful Ketchum, Idaho, that most of the rest of the world knows as Sun Valley, our first ever summer camp. So glad you're joining us today. And Jim, welcome to Medvale Media's Megaphone, the show that really is yours. I just get to host it. So glad you're here.
Yeah, well, Dave, certainly appreciate you stepping up and running Medvale Media, a very important part, as it turns out, of Medvale is for us to have a megaphone to blast things out. We have a lot of good ideas, good people, innovations, and we want the world to know about that. We think they can be better off by knowing some of the things that are working here at Medvale.
And to be clear, I'm just part of Medvale Media. The person that runs Medvale Media is behind the camera. That would be Maria,
That would be
producer,
Maria.
director, and technical expert. So
yeah, Maria that just landed, having spent a day and a half on airplanes and airports coming
and we're grateful, Maria. Thank you.
Coming all the way from Argentina.
Well, Jim, let's start with a little bit of your background, where you started out in beautiful Wendell, Idaho, just down the road a piece from here. I know you're a proud Wendell Trojan from Wendell High School. So give us a little bit of background. Start at Wendell, bring us forward.
Well, I just had such a fortunate life. All these 77 years, you can see that I'm not young. And having been blessed by growing up in Wendell, Idaho, was really so important to me.
What made it special?
Well, it's a small town. Then it was in fact, it was 1,232 people when I was
roughly.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, somebody was just born. It's 1233.
Well, it was a small town then. It's a small town now. In fact, last Saturday was at my 60th class reunion there. Wow. And so I was flashing back about what a special place that was. And I'm just, I think that what people are is the component of all these generations that worked hard so that in this case I could have a good life, going back thousands of years in terms of selective breeding, finding a good place to raise kids. And so I'm the product of a lot of very well-intentioned ancestors that worked very hard, made good decisions that turned out very good for me. And that was, I think, their motivation is to do things that are good for their progeny and their progeny's progenies. And so Wendell is an example of that. I'm a fourth generation Wendell kid. Those folks came from England, from Scotland, to America for a better way of life, and then found their way to southern Idaho.
What was the draw to southern Idaho from all those various places?
Well, you would wonder about that because it was a dry, desolate place. But in the early 1900s, it was starting to be irrigated.
Right.
And so it turned that desert into a very fertile crescent that was good and had lots of opportunities. And I think the people that would endure the hardships of that kind of an environment, pretty tough folks.
I would say so. People who don't know the area don't understand that high mountain desert has extremes from very, very hot summers to very, very cold and snowy winters.
hmm And you got to be kind of tough to survive that, if not enjoy it. So I think it's a special type of person that that would do that. And so hardworking, well intentioned, family oriented, and that's what I'm a product of. And so my dad was in the Army when I was born, and but he was from Drome, Idaho. My mom was from Wendell. They're small towns next to each other, and met at a church camp here close to Sun Valley when they were in junior high.
Oh my gosh.
So there really are strong roots in, they call it Magic Valley because it's kind of magical in terms of what the water did for a very dry, desolate place. And my dad, when he came out of the Army, uh, got a job as the county assessor of Gooding County. My mom was a school teacher. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. So there was me, 5 sisters, and finally a baby brother.
Wow, we have that in common. I'm the oldest of 5. I went through 3 sisters to get a brother. I know 5 isn't as much pressure as what you had, but yeah, I'm a bookend with my brother, just like you.
I didn't know that. We could have our own support group.
I think we do now.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's certain baggage that firstborns get. And so, yeah, we need to talk some more.
We'll do that off camera.
Yeah. To sort this out as to the benefits and
the burdens.
The burdens. Yeah. So maybe that's why I think everything is my fault. It's because it was. As the oldest, and certainly the oldest male, you can feel my pain.
Oh yeah, I feel your pain.
But it was mostly a good bringing up, and I think a lot of leaders are firstborn.
And where did you go from Wendell? So you grow up in Wendell, and then you spread your wings and take off.
Yeah, not significantly. I didn't fall too far from the tree. Ended up graduating from Idaho State University with a degree.
Go Bengals!
There, thank you. And got a degree in general business, kind of because I wasn't very well directed as to where all this would lead. However, I did know what I was going to be doing when I graduated. That was during the Vietnam years, and I was in ROTC. So I chose, I'm going to serve, probably will get better experience as an officer. And that was another blessing. Is I was being trained to be a medevac pilot, a helicopter pilot, yeah, and got my private pilot license while I was in college. Thank you to the U.S. Army. But when I got in, they said, we don't really need as many as we thought we needed. And if we give you any job you want in the Army, would you not make us send you to flight school? And I said, yeah, I don't want to be a professional pilot anyway. But when I was in college, I was just so destitute and always had a series of jobs. So going to college was kind of secondary. I didn't thrive. I didn't necessarily get good grades, but I worked awfully hard at all these jobs, mowing lawns, working in the cafeteria. And one of the jobs that I had was ambulance attendant, ambulance driver. because I had, as a Boy Scout, had gotten a first aid badge. And so that was enough qualification to go out and save lives back
and this is in
in the
Pocatello?
60s. Yeah, Pocatello, Idaho. And I remember that, I'd go pick up somebody and try to keep them alive, get them to the hospital, using the best of what I'd learned in Boy Scouts, and get to the hospital. And then I would start going down a list of doctors begging someone to come in and take care of this patient. So things have evolved.
Things have evolved just a little.
Yeah. And so I like healthcare. my first shot at it, and thought, this is interesting. You're doing something good. You're helping people,
Right.
And it could be a career. I'm not smart enough to be a doctor, but maybe I can do something here that would, again, help people. And so I said, I'd like to be in hospital administration, clinic administration in Germany. So I was. And
Again, thanks to the United States Army.
thanks to the Army. And I, after some basic training, went off to Nuremberg, Germany, and was placed in charge of the medical company, all of the enlisted people that worked in the hospital. There's 360 of them. And here I am as a 22-year-old, younger than a lot of them, trying to figure out how to lead them. So what a good way to grow up fast.
Truly.
So that was just another lucky break that I had to be put into a leadership position that I was totally unqualified for. But you just figure these things out, and it seems to work out. And I was so impressed by a lot of the other officers I was working with that were in the Army. And this is, mind you, during the Vietnam years when...
Is this late 60s-ish?
Yeah, late 60s. So, it wasn't easy to be in the military then, but these people that were very devoted were such an inspiration to me. And I'm better because of them. And in the Army, and I talk about this a lot, all of the medical facilities are commanded by a physician. And it really works pretty darn well. And so the physician that was my commander that I worked for, Colonel Thomas, is the hospital commander. He was promoted to be the command surgeon for all of Vietnam. And he said, Jim, why don't you come and help me? And I said, yeah, I had a 4-year obligation for my ROTC scholarship that I was happy to pay back. And I had about another year. I said, I want to see the world. And I'm curious about Vietnam. I'd like to be there and do whatever I might do. And so we went to Vietnam. And
where were you based in Vietnam?
In Saigon.
In Saigon?
Yeah. And he ran everything in the whole country: Air Force, Navy, Army hospitals, the work that we did out in the villages to try to help them with their healthcare issues. So I loved the work. And as I tell people, best war I ever had. It was just the responsibility, and I like what we're doing. So I kept extending and extending. And it was towards the end of the war, and finally they said, you've got to be on this last airplane out of Thompson Air Force Base. were shutting things down. And so I was on the last airplane of the fighting troops going out in on that very important day. So when I was in Vietnam, I surprised myself a bit by missing Idaho because I didn't think I'd necessarily ever darken its door again. But I came to respect, I think, the work ethic, just the character of the people that I had grown up with, was hobnobbing with, was still in contact with. So I started looking around for a job. And there was a job in Salmon, Idaho, a fairly rural area.
Fairly, yes. That is an understatement.
Yeah, it's
a beautiful place.
Great place to be, I'll tell you. And I wanted to get back to Idaho, and Salmon is a lot of Idaho. And in fact, it was a rural hospital, 42 bed hospital, very independent. It was 150 miles over a pass to the next hospital. So we were very self-contained.
Was it Steel Memorial then?
Yeah,
okay.
It was. Mm-hmm. And very well funded by the Steele family. And so what a treat. And I got the job as a 25-year-old and had never worked in civilian healthcare since my ambulance driving days, but figured it out. And what a good, forgiving, friendly, supportive place to do that. So again, have I mentioned how blessed I've been? Another example of that. And in Salmon, the Steele Memorial Hospital covers a lot of territory, larger than the state of Connecticut, one hospital. So a lot of interesting challenges that we had to service that market. I got approached by the University of Washington to help start a family medicine residency. So Idaho, a rural state, it probably had 1 million people in it at that point, didn't have a medical school, didn't have any postgraduate education. So places like Salmon and Wendell had challenges of just having providers, having physicians.
It's hard to get a doc to move to a small town sometimes.
Yeah, it's a tough life.
Equally as hard to get them to stay.
Yeah. Well, and since they were usually guys, the wives, it was harder to recruit them because the doctors could get a lot of their stimulation from taking good care of patients, but the spouses had a different challenge. So
sure.
It was hard. And without a way to get these Idahoans who had gone off to medical school back to Idaho was a challenge, because when they were in a medical school is typically in an urban area.
A teaching hospital typically associated with a university of some type.
Mm-hmm. And they're, again, when they were typically males, they're marrying city girls. And that compounds this as well.
Salmon is not a city. It's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
It doesn't qualify as city.
Yeah, there's not even a Nordstrom in Salmon.
What?
So we had our challenges, and being a country mouse, I was really very interested in this mission of bringing doctors to Idaho to be trained for their residency, their last 3 years of their postgraduate training, and to help them, prepare them to be placed into a rural area where the need was. So we got funding from the state of Idaho, St. Luke's, thank you very much, St. Al's, and it was off and going. And it was at one point me and the medical director shared an office. And then we got the money and got ready, recruited 4 R2s, second year residents, to start it. And I moved the whole residency in my pickup to
And this is
to a clinic.
not in Salmon, though.
No, this is, I'm sorry. This is in Boise.
Okay, so you've left Salmon, you're in Boise, starting the medical residency with the University of Washington. And is it part of what we now know as WWAMI? Was it WWAMI then?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. So well supported. And so it worked. We ended up growing, and it's a huge operation now, full circle health. And I just left the board of that, but it worked out. Point being, when I was there at the family medicine residency of Idaho, it was a wonderful experience. Again, I've been very fortunate, and that was part of that is going from inpatient to outpatient, and thinking that maybe where the world's going is inpatients are going to be out, and outpatients are going to be in because of technology and the take the medicine to where they are. So I thought this is a good place to be in healthcare, is not to be so hospital centric, but to be more flexible, if you will. And I found that ambulatory medicine, outpatient medicine, clinic medicine was really quite entrepreneurial. There's more opportunities to do interesting things in a business sense. What I wasn't impressed by is the state of the art of managing medical clinics coming out of hospitals. And there's, they used to, MHAs were masters in hospital administration. Now it's masters in health care administration. And so they were pretty good, fairly sophisticated. It was a career field that had been quite developed. Not so with medical groups. And so I thought there's got to be a better way to do this. And started America's first physician practice management company, America's first medical clinic management company. And it was quite revolutionary at the time because so many of the clinics were small, literally the mom and pop
all paper based.
Yeah. And a lot of times it was the mom that was managing the pop's medical practice. And it worked pretty darn well. But it looked to me like consolidation was going to happen. And these smaller entities were going to have a more difficult time making a difference.
So your crystal ball was telling you that, yes, it's working today, but the economy and technology and the way healthcare is moving is going to force some of these smaller outfits together. Was that your thesis?
It was. And I could see some examples of that back in the 70s and when I was trying to think through this. And so as 2 doctors became a clinic and then brought in another 2 doctors and then merged with another 6 doctors, that's harder to manage than the skill set that was in place. And so I thought that there's an opportunity here, and that if we could take the administrative business stress off of a physician, that physician could probably spend more time and energy on the patient care. And it worked. They were very happy to let us take care of all that administrivia that I mean, if they'd been interested in that, they would have gone to business school like I did instead of medical school. And they just weren't, they didn't have the DNA they weren't hardwired to think in business terms.
It's a different discipline of thought.
Yeah.
And we need both. It's hard to find both those disciplines in the same person.
Yeah. But, I want my doctor not to necessarily be too business focused. I want him to be patient focused and keep me healthy. So if we could celebrate that and make that possible for that physician to do that for a long, long time, to do it, to love it, and better yet, in a rural area or a inner city or some place that is underserved, the world gets better. And one of the reasons I love healthcare is that it's not a zero-sum game. So, Dave, if you get healthier, it doesn't mean that I get less healthy.
True story.
In fact, it probably means that I'm going to have a better life if everybody around me or everybody in the world, theoretically, is healthier. So, what a good place to be in healthcare. And so,
so you've started a company at this point. What's the company called?
Medical Management, MedMan for short, and I think we found something that was needed, as I mentioned, for doctors to do medicine, for people who like the business administrative side to do that, and everybody could be happier. Especially the patient would come out better off. And so MedMan was, I think, doing the right thing at the right time. And we just kept finding things to do. So as we tried to develop this model, nobody had ever done it before, and so it was.
Well, nobody could tell you that you were wrong. There was nobody around to say you should do it this way. Nobody had done it.
I wish there was. It could have saved me a lot of pain. And so we, for example, if anything seemed to go wrong in these small clinics, it was the payroll. That the withholding didn't get to the bank on the third banking day, or somebody didn't get their tax forms on time. And so what a silly problem to hold up a clinic. So I thought, wait, we have a bookkeeper here at MedMan. Why don't we do the payroll and make sure that it gets done well? So we started doing that, and I get a call from an attorney that is dealing with the pension plan of one of our doctors.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I've said, okay, instead of doing dozens of payrolls, why don't we do one payroll and just put all of these employees under our employer ID number so we can pay them. And that really saved a lot of time.
So that you became essentially then a professional employment organization.
PEO. The first in the world. So we had all these employees entering up to us, and we had the liability. We were the ones that would get sued if there was a wrongful discharge. We would do the hiring, do the training, taking all of that again out of the doctor's set of problems.
And what year is this?
This is in the late 70s.
Okay.
And
that's really innovative for that time.
Yeah, it was kind of scary. Again, no one had done that. And so this attorney said, okay, I'm working on the doctor's pension plan. Whose employees are they? I said, well, they're they're his. We're not intending to take the pension plan away from them or to disadvantage them at all. He said, well, but they're on your employer ID. They're your employees from a legal standpoint. I said, well, that's all right. How can we make that work? So I got a hold of Deloitte and said, make this work. And so they went, the CPA firm, to IRS and negotiated on our behalf that if we would give everybody, all of these staffs in these medical clinics, an immediately vested 7.5% pension plan, they would deem them to be our employees. So that's what I want. And they'll get a good pension plan. We combining all that power, buying better health insurance for them. It looked like a win-win. And then the doctor could go off and do his own
and truly focus on medicine.
Well, but his own pension plan.
Oh, sure.
And he would want something designed differently than if he had to drag all of these minimum wage employees through that
yes.
Had different needs than he did. So it was a home run. And so we had all of these employees for all of this network of clinics at MedVan that we paid that truly were our employees. And then pretty soon the doctors wanted to be on our payroll. So we started bringing them on. And so we would get sued if a doctor had a bad case. So it took a lot of risk, and was happy about that. I really feel that we're getting too safe out there, but that could be a different
maybe
megaphone
another episode. Yes.
So I never wanted to be too safe, and to do some interesting things and make some mistakes, and get hurt on occasion, but also there must be a better way to do this. Is what I keep coming back to. So I sold. Pretty soon I started thinking, well, if we are here to make the management of these clinics better, and we got copied as a PEO, as a staff leasing company, as a co-employment company, by folks that said they're onto something. And so pretty soon there's competition, great competition that has 100,000 employees. They're buying insurance cheaper than we are. And I thought, one of our values is we always do what's right for the client. This isn't right because there's competitors that can do a better job. So I sold that division of MedMan, and we just focused on running clinics well. And that was good. It was good for everybody, and it made me feel that we weren't conflicting.
Sure.
By trying to sell a side product that, again, someone else could do better. And so Medvale continued after 42 years, and I got into my 70s. It was such a shock. I don't know how that happened. Is that I didn't do the math that 70 follows 69. And so
wait, accounting was a strength of yours?
No, it wasn't.
I see.
I absolutely not. I always had good accounting help because it's not a strength. So all of a sudden I'm an old guy. And what am I going to do?
Hey, easy on the age thing, pal. These are natural highlights.
They're to be proud of.
Yes.
So sold Medvale to younger people, our managers for them. And all of a sudden, I don't have a day job. And people at Medvale hear me talking about 1.2, 2.0, 3.0 versions of your life. And so here I am going in to 3.0, if you will, whatever follows your career.
Yes.
1.0 is figuring out who you are and getting ready for the 2.0. You put a lot of thought into that, but not so much into the last, what could be a third of your life. Now that medicine has done such a nice job of keeping us alive and active and healthy longer, so it changes all the rules. So, oh my God, I'm glad not to have a stressful day job, but I don't want to watch daytime TV.
You do not strike me as someone that would sit in front of daytime TV. I've known you for a while. That one's not in the cards.
I shouldn't worry about it.
No, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, well, I won't then. So I love healthcare. Had I mentioned that before? And I haven't fixed American healthcare yet. There's more work to be done. And so how could I do that? And going through some analysis, again, we spend more time thinking about what we're going to do for our career than we are what we're going to do after we move on. And I like connecting people, finding people like you, Dave, finding other people that I can introduce to you and ideas. And so thought I could probably make a living doing that.
You are the great connector.
I love it. And having been in healthcare for 50 years, I've got a lot of cool friends. And so just started getting them together into these small mastermind groups was a kick in the pants. And that took off. And now we have...
Here we are.
Have Medvale.
Indeed.
We have a Medvale Media to talk about the good stuff that these Medvaleistas, the people that live in this little town that's a metaphorical version of little Wendell, Idaho. We have a library, we have clubs, we have a town council, we have a mayor.
Who was the mayor of Wendell when you left Wendell? Can you remember?
I don't remember his name, but he owned the Silver Spur Bar.
We can start there. I bet we could find it from there. We need to find that family and let them know what's become of their little town now exists as Medvale.
Hey, I told my classmates, all 15 of them, last Saturday about the fact that have a company modeled after them. In fact, on our website, we have a look-down view of Wendell that Maria found and put on there to show how small Wendell is. So now we have a small virtual town named Medvale. My wife Julie named it. So healthcare village kind of is how it might translate. And I'm having the best time of my life. I just love this. Doing what I love with people I love. And isn't this a privilege to be able to pick the people that you want to work with? And so it chokes me up a little bit, but again, what a privilege, what a fortunate life I've had, and look at where it is now. It couldn't be any better.
Well, fortune favors the brave, and you certainly have been that. Thank you for spending time with us today, sharing how you got from Wendell to the Limelight Hotel at summer camp in Ketchum, Idaho, in the summer in June of 2025. 77 years has not been misspent. So, Jim, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
It's been a privilege.
And in 5 minutes, we're going to convene our social hour out here, and I get to see all these Medvaleistas that are flowing in to Sun Valley, Idaho from all over the U.S., all over the world, with our Latin American staff. So
it's a global gathering.
It's going to be fun to go out and have a drink with these folks.
Jim, thank you again. And thanks to all of you. This has been Megaphone from Medvale Media. I'm Dave Self. Be well.